What's going on, guys? Jacob here, and today we're going to talk about the lat pull down, and we're going to show you how to perform it correctly. So to start, a lot of people think that by getting a wider hand position, they're going to train more lats, when in reality, that's not the case. We only need to go as wide as probably a mid grip, which is going to allow for the wrist to be directly over the elbow. Now, this is going to not only maximize lat recruitment if you have a pronated grip, but it's also going to ensure that you're not putting the shoulder in any dangerous positions, because the wider we go, the greater the risk of shoulder injuries. So just make sure that you're keeping things perpendicular from the wrist to the elbow. So as Aaron sets up, what most people are going to do is they're going to start pulling down with their hands, and we're going to see as Keon comes around this internal rotation, and we can see the upper traps doing a lot of work and just tension going through the shoulders here, and that's because they're not using their back musculature appropriately. So first thing we want to do when we set up is think of our hands as hooks. That way we can start distributing the load into the upper back. From here, we want to get elevation of the scaps and upward rotation. So that is a big stretch through the lats, because the bigger the stretch, the harder the muscle has to contract, and we're going to use the entire pool of muscle fibers, which is really important if hypertrophy is your goal. So nice big stretch. Now another thing we don't want to see is that initiation of the movement coming from the lower back, that is leaning back like this. And again, we're decreasing the amount of mechanical work the lats have to do because we're getting compensation through here. So we want to keep this nice and still. Big breath in, and we can see everything's stretched. His shoulders are towards his ears. So a good cue is shoulders touching your ears. Big breath in. He's going to shrug down first with his shoulders and then pull down. Good. And like we were getting to before, a lot of people here pull down to a range of motion that they simply don't have control of or flexibility to get into. And they'll start to pull with their hands and internally rotate like this. And again, we can see all that tension shifting forward, which is not great. So what we want to do is we want to stop the bar. For most people, it's going to be around eye height or just below their chin, to ensure that we can depress and retract our scapula, getting that nice big squeeze through the mid-back here. Then we're going to stretch up. We're going to relax, let everything elevate, come up, shoulders to ears. Breathe into our belly so that there's no movement through here. Shrug and squeeze. And a good cue to think about is loose hands, like I mentioned, but also elbows to your back pocket, squeezing, and then getting a big stretch up. And as you can see, his entire back musculature is working there, getting some good tension on the lats, the teres, the rhomboids, the traps, everything is working as it should be. Nice glide across the rib cage, and that's how we pull down properly. So guys, I hope that video was useful. I hope it was informative. I hope you all get as jacked and have lats as big as Aaron. Until next time, peace, love, and bicep curls.